I remember the first time I had any actual change in my life, like progress, where I moved forward. I actually had change where I improved. I became more confident. I got in better shape. I had my personality changed. Honestly, my personality changed, and it was all for the better. And I remember when I went through that, and my mindset of that, I was exactly who I needed to be. I was finally the best version of myself. I thought that I was unstoppable. I thought I was exactly who I needed to be to move out, to make a lot of money, to be happy, to have a girlfriend, all that stuff. And I look back now and I laugh because who I was then, yeah, I made progress from where I started. When I started, I was fat, I was insecure, I was depressed, I had no sense of identity. It was bad. And yeah, I was a lot better than I was then. Way better. I had way more confidence. I was happier. I was genuinely a better person in every aspect compared to who I was. But I stopped making progress for a while. I was stuck. And that's because I stopped trying to improve. I stopped trying to become better. And because I stopped trying to improve and become better, I ended up staying where I was. And I actually went backwards a little bit because I wasn't trying to improve. And then eventually I realized that I wasn't happy anymore. That gratification, that joy was gone because time had passed. And I realized that I needed to be even better if I wanted to do the things I want to do in life. If I wanted to travel, if I wanted to move out, if I wanted a girlfriend, I needed to improve more. So that's what I did. I started focusing on myself again. And one thing that I did, and I know lots of other people out here, I know you probably watching this did the same thing or are doing the same thing right now, is that you're forgetting about the fact that you always need to improve. You always need to become better. You always need to strive for more. And it may sound like that means like you're never happy, but that's not the case, because you are happy when you're grinding and working towards becoming better, becoming more confident, having more money, getting in better shape, work on your personality, whatever it is. You are happy when you're doing that because you're working towards something better, and you're becoming better, but you get caught up in the moment on the progress you've made sometimes, especially the first time you have a real big change in your life. You get caught up in the moment, and you can't do that. You got to fucking keep working. You gotta be continuing to strive to be better. You can't ever stop. You need to become the greatest version of yourself. It is a disappointment to your family, your father, your mother, to God. It is a disappointment if you don't become the best version of yourself, if you don't at least try to become the best version of yourself. And you know what? It's the same problem that people have when they're starting out and when they have that first big change, that first big real progression that's really noticeable, is that comfort. It's comfort that fucks everything up. You get comfortable. I got comfortable myself. That's why I'm going backward. You're comfortable where you are. When you're comfortable where you are, you're never going to make progress. You can only go backward. You're never going to improve in life. And it's crazy to think, actually, now that I'm saying this, that when you start, before you actually start this journey and become better and start improving yourself, you haven't started because you're fucking comfortable. You're comfortable with who you are. You're complacent. And that comfort is killing your dreams. That little flicker inside of you, if you're when you're starting out, that little flicker inside of you, in the back of your mind, deep back there, there's that little thought that's telling you that you could be better. You could you could be a better person. You could have more confidence. You could be in better shape. You could have that girl, that dream girl you want. You could have your dream life if you just worked, if you just fucking busted your ass. But you are too scared to even try. You're just comfortable. Because you're comfortable, you're scared to be uncomfortable and if it doesn't work. And what I have to say to that is, you will never know if it's going to work unless you fucking try. You have to try. If you don't try, you'll never know if it's going to work or not. And you know what? I was guilty of that when I first started out too. I was fucking scared to start. I was scared that it was just going to be a waste of time. I was going to go from comfortability to being uncomfortable, and then even more insecure because it didn't work and I tried and I'd feel embarrassed. But the only way you could fail is if you give up, is if you stop. Because if you have, let's say it's weight loss. You're trying to lose weight and it's not working. You haven't failed. You just trial and error. You're figuring it out. But when you actually just give up, go back to your old ways, stop trying at all, that is when you fail, because you actually gave up. So if you never give up, You always continue to try to become better, to try to become the man that you know you can become. Then you can never truly fail. You can never truly fail. And if you are at least trying and it is visible to those who care about you, whether it's your friends, your mom, your dad, your girlfriend, even God, if it's visible you are trying, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Really, that's all that matters is fucking trying and never giving up. Because only pussies give up. Like, you're not a man if you give up. You're a little boy inside. You may look like a man, maybe the age of a man, but you are a little boy inside if you give up. You have people who maybe counting on you, or maybe you have people who look up to you, or people who expect greatness from you, and you want to fucking give up? You don't even want to try? That's fucking sad. You need to fucking man up, not give up, and always remain uncomfortable, because you can't grow if you're comfortable. If you want to grow, you want to become better, you need to always be uncomfortable. It's different for everyone on how they become uncomfortable. For some, it's going to the gym every day and tracking their calories or following a meal plan. For others, it may be going for a run every day. For others, it may be needing to get out of their parents' house. Whatever it is, you need to always remain in uncomfortable positions, because that uncomfortable position is where you will fucking grow. That is where you will actually become better and become who you know you can be. But if you let yourself linger in the comfortability, then it's not like you're going to go forwards. Damn well not going to go forwards, and you're not going to stay the same. You may think you're complacent with where you are right now, but guess what? You're not even going to be able to stay at that level, because you're going to go fucking backwards, and then you're even further from who you need to be later in life in order to survive, in order to be who you're supposed to be. Because as life goes on, you need to progress with it. You need to make sure that you are either at the level that you, at the point in your life, this is where you're supposed to be. At least at this point, you need to always be trying to be up here, right? Let's say right now, you're at this point in life and you're right here. You got to here, you get comfortable, you get complacent, right? What's slowly going to happen is you're going to go down and you're supposed to be going up, because life is throwing fucking a lot of shit at you. You need to be getting better because it demands more out of you, but you're going down. You don't even realize it. And then one day you're going to realize that shit, you are not in the place that you need to be. You need to be so much better. You have all this distance between the man you're supposed to be, what life is demanding out of you, what life is demanding you to be, and where you are. And it's all because you got fucking comfortable. It's all because you remained comfortable. Give your balls a tug, put yourself back in that uncomfortable position, and fucking work and keep on setting new goals to become better and better and better, and never stop. I don't care if you're 70 years old. Don't fucking stop trying to be better. You can always be better. Never give up. I got nothing else to say.